Welcome to the Compliance Perspectives Podcast. I'm Adam Turteltaub from the Society of Corporate Compliance and Ethics and Healthcare Compliance Association. Joining us today from our headquarters in Minneapolis is Garth Jordan. Garth is the brand new CEO of SCCE and HCCA. Garth, welcome to day 2 in the office. Thanks for being here and joining us. I thought it would be good to give people a sense of you, where you're coming from. First, what attracted you initially to apply for the job as CEO of the association?
Well, the first thing I'll just say logistically was I applied 8 days after the formal job application process closed down. So I was lucky enough to get in through the back door. I'm not quite sure how that worked, but it was a blessing. That said, I had seen the job probably a couple weeks prior and had been thinking about it without the idea of a deadline in mind. And when I was chatting with a friend about the idea of applying to the job, something pretty simple came to mind for me. I think maybe your average layperson who isn't in this particular profession thinks when they hear compliance, risk, and ethics, they maybe don't think about what that really means. They tend to think of it as kind of a lot of legal stuff, and that may or may not be true. But what it kind of from my perspective and what got me excited about it is what that kind of rolls up into is the idea of building trustworthy companies and trustworthy entities. And so when I think about when I was thinking about coming in and applying for the role, what got me excited was supporting a profession and supporting almost a movement, if you will, that I think is more desperately in need now than maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, where we are a community that builds trust and builds trustworthy entities that people like me, consumers of healthcare, consumers of products and services, and also other entities, governments, et cetera, can trust the entities that all of our members work for. So that to me is what's exciting, and it's pretty simple and straightforward, building trust.
And that's one of the things I think that motivates a lot of us to get involved and stay involved in the profession. So once you started the process, started interviewing, talking with people, what kept you interested? What did you hear as you were interviewing that led you to say, this is where I belong?
Well, I would say in addition to, so my initial, I'll go back and say, since my initial idea of this is a place that builds trustworthy entities, that was not proven wrong. So that was positive, right? That I walked in with a pretty decent idea, high level idea of what we are about, so to speak. But then as I learned more and spoke with the board and spoke with a few people that I know that have at least somewhat of a close tie with the association, what appealed to me and kept appealing to me is a single word, and that is opportunity. So every kind of direction or dimension that I looked, that I talked about, that I explored with the board, with the search committee, with folks that know the organization, it felt like there was almost opportunity at every corner. And whether that opportunity would result in growth for the organization or improved impact, more impact, higher impact for the organization that the organization brings to those that we serve, that idea of opportunity just kept resonating for me. So whether it's growing the member base, whether that's growing our international presence, whether that's developing products and programs that are more broadly impactful within any given institution or organization. Instead of having 3 people, you want 1,000 people from an organization to be using your products. So there's all kinds of opportunity that just kept arising.
That's great to hear. I'm looking forward to see how sort of opportunity gets changed into reality over time.
Mhm.
So, as you were interviewing, what surprised you about the association? I'm always curious, what people weren't expecting that they found.
I guess on reflection, Adam, there hasn't been a big surprise moment yet. I'm not saying that there won't be, um, and I'm not saying that's good or bad news. It's just interesting. Um, what I've found so far through the process and through my day 1.5 here, not even 1.5, is that while the profession, I'm sure, is very different than many of the other professions out in the world, while we are a professional association, we face many of the same opportunities and challenges that the thousands of professional and trade associations out in the world face today. So I haven't yet found or heard, just from a challenge perspective, something that was surprising or new or different, that I haven't personally been exposed to in the last 25 to 28 years of being someone that works in professional associations and supports running associations. So maybe that's the surprise, is that there's no surprises, comma, yet.
Right. Yeah, it is still early. And your comment about having spent so many years at association leads into my next question, which is you're a first for us. The previous CEOs came out of the compliance and related fields world, but you're coming from association management itself, having worked in several associations. What benefits do you think that perspective will bring us?
Well, I think there will be several. I'll give one example of what it's like to work in an association, for your audience that may or may not have been exposed to what it's like actually working inside an association. So, when you are in any given professional or trade association, we do a lot of different work. So, we're a publisher, right? We publish books and magazines. Um, and also, of course, other media and other forms like this podcast. So, in many regards, we're a content expert slash publisher of a wide variety of different types of media. We're event organizers, right? So, of all sizes and types, thousands of people down to 20 people. That requires a certain level of expertise and product development. We might do research, um, which in and of itself is its own discipline, to not just conduct the research, but to analyze it and publish it in a way where it's consumable and accessible and usable in your day-to-day practice, whatever it is you do. We are either accrediting and or credentialing bodies. So we certify and credential people. We accredit sometimes organizations. We of course sell sponsorships and advertising, etc., to some of our content. My point being, I could drag that list out to easily 15 to 20 different products or services. Online communities, for example, right? So we have our own version of, if you will, LinkedIn for our online communities. I could drag that list out to a long list. And the point being is that one of the things that's different about most associations is it's almost like we're a conglomeration of multiple businesses. We're a publisher, we're an event organizer, we're a lobbying firm, we're a research organization, etc. And we try to pull all of that together in a way where that group of work, that body of work that we do, benefits individuals that we serve. And on top of that, we want to help people network, find each other, find the products and services that they need, but also find each other and find other people like them, so that they have a support system out in their world. So, so oftentimes, what you see in professional and trade associations is the CEO who is from that particular trade or profession may not have the background of being a professional association executive. And so they have to learn the business from the inside out, rather, with their professional lens, versus someone like me. And I'm not saying one is better than the other; it's just different. Versus someone like me who understands the ins and outs of what it means to run a multifaceted, very layered, and potentially complex business like an association, but then do it for, any type of profession out in the world, knowing that there is nuance from one to the other. So it's not necessarily better that you have one CEO who is from the profession or one that isn't. It's just different, and it's a different approach. My hope is what I can bring to the association is, in using that kind of angle and that experience, I can bring a different lens on the strategy that we will develop and apply as an association to do a stellar job, and hopefully a better job down the road of serving the all of the stakeholders and our members and our business partners that we serve.
Well, and to echo the point you made about how associations have so much in common with each other, I was just at the conference of what's best described as the Association of Associations, and we were the only compliance organization there. But by the same token, it was remarkable as I went to session after session and talked to people and heard them talk, is realizing how much in common we have with every other association out there. So finally, you're new to compliance. What are your plans for quickly getting up to speed on the compliance profession?
So there's a key word in there that I'm not sure how quick it will be. One thing I will say to maybe counter the question a little bit is I don't plan on becoming a compliance expert. I don't think that's my job. Certainly, if we need to have compliance experts on staff, I know Adam, you've got that in your background to some extent. Uh, um, but if we have compliance experts on staff or through volunteers, that hopefully fills whatever void that I leave without being not being a compliance expert. That said, I do need to develop a level of understanding of course, what compliance risk and ethics looks like out in the world through the lens of our members. And so, what I intend to do, high level, I'll just talk about here with our board, is to develop a strategy that is what I would say an empathy-based strategy. And I know that sounds kind of soft, but an empathy-based strategy or a design thinking focused strategy is one that really deeply, deeply understands the people for whom you are designing, and takes that into account when you're building the strategy, which then cascades into the projects, that enable the strategy. So in building that empathy, so to speak, which I know is a soft word, your job for forever, but starting right now today, is to start to put myself in the shoes of our members, not so that I can be a compliance expert, but so that I can understand to the best of my ability the challenges that compliance ethics, risk management professionals face every day, so that we can be a better organization fitting into their day, fitting into their work stream, and helping them solve the challenges that they face every day and being a better partner in that.
And of course, next week, well, actually, it's next week as we're recording this, and maybe last week by the time this airs, you'll be at the Compliance and Ethics Institute as a first start at that. Well, Garth, thanks for taking time out of a very busy day two to talk to us.
Sure.
Uh, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen. I'm Adam Turteltaub from SCCE and HCCA. I hope we're able to expand your compliance perspective.